Hello and welcome to Love Island the morning after, the only official Love Island podcast.
Guys, I can hardly breathe. Curtis, is his head turning? We don't know. We'll find out. To my left, I have Amy Hart and the wonderful Kurd, and you two are the best people to discuss last night's drama with.
Yes, we had heated conversations, hideaways, and potentially hand touching.
This morning's podcast is going to be absolutely iconic.
Naughty, naughty. There's only one thing to start with, and that is Ekin-Su and Curtis.
Yes.
Where do we begin? So Ekin-Su and Curtis were having their chat on the daybed. She was saying, there's something I want to tell you, but you keep turning the conversation around. And he said no, and then his phone went off. And he got invited to a sexy sleepover at the Hideaway. Firstly, before we go into the Hideaway, what do we think Ekin was going to tell him on the daybed?
You know what? I think she was really going to explain her true feelings for Curtis. Like, really let him know that this is where I want to be. I'm happy. I'm fully closed off. Maybe even thinking about going down the exclusive route, but I think she was ready to just take it a little bit further.
Maybe become half girlfriend and boyfriend. That kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. I think she was going to say that she was falling for him. I don't think she was going to go for the full I love you yet, because I think on the daybed, surrounded by other people, I think that's not...
It's not special, is it?
It's not box office. So I think she was going to go down the I'm falling for you route. But she was potentially saved by the bell because his phone went off and he got invited, along with Elma, to a sleepover in the Hideaway with Sammy Root from Series 10 and with Danielle Sellers from Series 3. Let's talk.
Well, we can start off with Danielle.
Yeah.
She seemed very smitten. She invited Curtis to the Hideaway and she made it clear that Curtis ticks all of her boxes. I mean, she said something that was quite intense.
You look like you're generally looking for someone to actually settle down with. I'm not going to waste time. Like, I generally, unless I don't see you being the father of my child or like the person I want to spend for it, I want to make sure it's right. Like,
I just say all the stuff that I say, to be fair. I actually say if I'm not going to find someone that's going to be the mother of my kids, there's no point in it working.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
I understand that. That's fair enough. You date somebody, if you don't see a future, why are we wasting time?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no point. I don't need to know your favourite colour. If I can't see you being like the mother of my children, I don't need to know your favourite colour. I don't need to know how many brothers and sisters you have.
She is 29, so maybe she is heading down that route soon.
Absolutely.
She's ready to start a family and settle down and just
got
live
a flat
some
at Fulham.
life.
She's ready. Curtis wasn't put off though, and he said that's what I look for in potential partners as well, to be the mother of my child. That's quite telling. A lot of boys, I think, would be like, oh, okay, that's an interesting point. But he sort of came close. He didn't back away. He went forward.
I don't think a lot of guys would pull away if they're actually serious about finding somebody.
Yeah.
Got ya.
The only way you start going, bit full on, is when you're not looking for something serious. When you're looking for a bit of fun, that's when you're like, oh my gosh, she's talking about kids. Like, but if you're genuinely looking to find someone, it's like, I want kids, and if she's talking about, well, that's great. Like, we're on the same page. I mean, just because you both say you want kids, it doesn't mean it needs to happen there and then. You're not going to like call the child David because it got conceived there. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's just good to have your priorities in order and just see that you're in alignment.
Yes. Now, some may say that the conversations between Danielle and Curtis were a little bit flirty. We saw last night that Curtis offered to sleep in his boxers. And he also wanted to play rock, paper, scissors to get the bigger bed.
Right. So, there's two things here. If I was in Curtis's position, I'd have asked for the big bed. One, because you get great sleep. But two, because it's bigger. And then you're like, I'm in a relationship. I don't want to be too close to her. I want to try to be respectful. He should have done that rather than let's play rock, paper, scissors. With the boxers thing, I'm with him, man. I can't sleep unless it's in my boxers. So, like, I'm not bringing no pajamas or anything like that. We're putting a little pillow in between us. Nothing's happening. I don't feel like that was disrespectful. Some people have their own sleep hygiene, have their own sleep routine. You can't disrupt that. I don't think that was disrespectful. Talking all night, that's a bit like, when he's like, I didn't kiss her, I didn't do anything. But we just spoke all night and talked about our feelings and our future goals. And do you know what I mean? That is a bit more intimate than just hugging and kissing.
We'll get to talking about it fully later, but obviously Curtis is now saying that with the trust thing with Ekin and him being away and the arguments they're having is making him want to go and get to know Danielle more. Do you think he was open to getting to know Danielle from the minute he stepped into the Hideaway?
I think so. I think Curtis has been holding back a lot of his real feelings because if we rewind to a few episodes ago, I remember him saying to the boys that he's a little bit concerned that him and Ekin are actually moving too fast. But he didn't elaborate on that. Ekin came to him and was like, do you think we're moving too fast? And he straight away chickened out and said no. So I feel like Curtis has found himself sitting on these feelings, and now a new lady's come in, and this is like his perfect opportunity to be like, look, let me just go with my heart and do what I wanted to do from the very beginning.
On one hand, it is classic Curtis.
Yes.
Right? It's not like we've
We've
seen
this somewhere. I'm not sure.
Like, it feels like a sequel to a film, right? I mean, there's a lot of remakes going on. This is another one. But on the other hand, I do understand his point, because sometimes as a guy, when you see a red flag already early on, you're like, ooh, and it makes you go, well, I've seen that red flag. I might as well get out while I can. But did he reassure Ekin-Su enough when he left?
No.
Not really. He was quite excited to get a text to the Hideaway.
Yeah, and he said, I'm excited 20 out of 10. Like, those sorts of things, as much as I think Ekin-Su may have overreacted a tad, I can see why she felt that way, because even though she was not privy to some of the stuff that happened, Curtis, we've seen it from the other angle. He was really excited to go in there. He was happy to be in there. And then later on, like you said, I think he has sort of used it as an excuse a little bit to just be like, oh yeah, no, like I was proper on it, but then she went really mental and it made me go the other way.
Yeah. I will say, and I'm a bit like, I don't want to be like, when back in my day. But when Curtis and I were together, he got invited on a date with Molly May in the hot tub in the Hideaway.
Of course.
And he said to me, like, you've got nothing to worry about. I'm just going to go and tell her about how great Tommy is. And then when he came back, he came straight to me. He was like, you're going to love her. She's amazing. Like, you're going to get on really well. And you've got nothing to worry about. And I feel like that was literally like an hour in a hot tub after a couple of days. I feel like he needed to give Ekin-Su a lot more reassurance.
Yeah.
He just said, stay beautiful. And walked off.
Yeah, because I do think, exactly, I do think that if the shoe was on the other foot and Ekin-Su had stayed in a bed with another man all night and was talking, I think Curtis would feel some type of way.
Yep.
As much as he goes on like he's this open-minded guy that's like, no, don't worry about it. Have a chat. Do what you want. I think in his head, he'd have been fuming if she'd have done the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we did see how Curtis reacted when Ekin was belly touching during
Rubbing
the kissy
Nels's
challenge. He really wasn't happy about that.
Great point.
So I agree.
Yeah. Look, I don't know why I'm defending him, but I will say what you said about how Ekin asked him outright, do you think we're moving too fast?
Yeah.
And he sort of retracted and said, no, I don't think we're moving too fast. I think he is just a nice guy that doesn't want to upset people. Like I said, he doesn't like confrontation.
Yeah.
And that could have potentially been a moment for confrontation.
Yeah.
And I think maybe he's now worrying that he's been too nice to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of see it with the jokes that Curtis makes, though. Like, everything he says is followed by a little corny joke. It's stay pretty, stay beautiful. Like, he just says these kind of quirky things. And maybe that is him just trying to be nice and not be awkward around people. But, you know, it can land you in a little bit of hot water sometimes.
Absolutely. Let me have a look at those rings. Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Stop holding my hand, Kay. I'll be honest, one thing that Curtis did say to Danielle, which was a bit of an oxymoron, he said, I say I'm closed off because I'm a one-woman man. But to be fair, I don't know the girl.
I think that was absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's been 3 weeks. He knows Ekin enough. Not saying he knows everything about her and her whole history growing up, but you've been sleeping in bed with this girl for 3 weeks. So to tell a quote-unquote stranger, I don't really know the girl.
To be fair, most of us know Ekin-Su very well.
Like, you know, that is absolutely wild. I'm sure Danielle knows who Ekin-Su is. So
Did he not even watch Series 8?
Like, I thought that was quite a wild thing to say. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was word vomit or him just trying to be open and honest. But I think that was a very bold thing to say. And I think he's going to regret it if those tapes are rolled.
Again, I don't know why I'm defending him, but I think there's all these terms in Love Island. Like, on the outside world, you're like, chatting to someone, seeing someone, boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes.
In there, it's like getting to know, closed off, exclusive, then boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, I think all titles should be banned. Change the rules,
Definitely.
change the format. You cannot use these titles because they actually mean nothing. And it's a waste of their time and it's a waste of our time.
Here.
Clock it.
Just don't say I'm closed off. Because I swear everyone says they're closed off. It's like, I'm
It adds
closed off
pressure.
unless someone else comes in. then-
Exactly. I think it adds far too much pressure. But I do think those terms are introduced because it is not the real world.
No.
It is the villa and things move fast and you want to set boundaries a bit quicker than you do in the real world because you can get walked over pretty quick in there, you know?
I think closed off just means you're the only one in here right now that I like.
Yeah.
Just want to get down to the actual point of what was the real reason, like...
Because I felt insecure. Done. Because I felt worthless,
no.
betrayed. Is that what you want to know?
No, no.
You're
Why
like,
did you feel betrayed? What?
I'm drained. I can't keep explaining how I feel. We're not getting anywhere. I just want to move on from this. And you're asking me why.
You could see that Ekin was getting a little bit fed up with her conversation with Curtis. She was saying it was going round and round in circles and she was feeling very drained. Fast forward, she comes downstairs and she sees Curtis having a conversation with Danielle around the fire pit. It's looking very giggly, it's looking very laughy. And then before you know it, she's crying in Ronnie's arms.
Yeah. And I think the conversation around the fire pit, it was a very good end of episode. I mean, I wanted it tomorrow night, but we didn't get one.
We didn't get anything.
Thanks a lot. Danielle outright asked him, do you regret being closed off? And he said, maybe I do.
Wow.
Yeah. And we had the subtitles on and it said, Ekin sobs.
In Ronnie's arms.
Poor Harriet. Do you know what? I think this is a case of female intuition always being right. Because obviously Ekin-Su was not inside that hideaway, so she didn't see them flirting. But she felt like something was off. And lo and behold, he's sitting around the fire pit saying, you know what? I wish I wasn't closed off.
Yeah. Ronnie did the classic male thing when we, oh, don't cry.
Don't cry.
It's like, oh, I hadn't thought of that.
I'll just stop crying now.
I feel like, you can open up to me in here. I feel like I can open up to you.
Yeah, always.
Because I feel like you've known me from the old me as well.
Yeah.
And I know the old you.
This girl might bring the old one.
You know what's really funny?
What?
I'm so calm in here.
I know, but it's a completely different
side to you. But then it's like
to you.
something's poking me right now. And it's like, no, Ekin, don't.
She said to Luca, didn't she, I feel like I'm a new Ekin-Su.
Yeah.
Not the old Ekin from last series. And Luca said to Curtis, you've brought out the better side of her.
That's true.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, tonight we might get...
The only reason I feel like older can may come out is because Curtis is not being open and honest with her. She's battling with her emotions. She's battling with her feelings. She's not getting the reassurance she needs from Curtis. And she may soon well find out, again, that she was right.
Talking of the old Ekin, though.
The old Ekin-Su.
She said, I would never act like that as a bombshell. Now, I may have got this wrong, but when she was closed off with Davide, didn't she crawl across the terrace that she could kiss Jay?
Ekin, my sweetheart, I love you so much, but I beg to differ. Ekin-Su is a bombshell, and that's one thing she's going to do.
She's the ultimate bombshell. She's always been the ultimate bombshell.
I want to see that side of Ekin-Su come back. If you really like Curtis, fight for your man, innit? Like, I want to see you use that same energy where you were crawling on the terrace to try and, like, get Danielle out of there. And, like, I want her to look at Danielle and go, you're not competition. Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Kind of vibes. And just, like, really make Curtis go, oh, my gosh, what am I missing out on?
However, I feel like Ekin's looking for that in Curtis rather than Danielle. Like, I feel like she's not even paying Danielle any sort of flies or anything. It's more like, Curtis, I need you to know that I like you.
Who do we think Curtis is going to end up with? Ekin-Su, Danielle, or neither of them?
I feel like he's going to try his luck with Danielle, but it may not last very long because she seems to be having something brewing with Ron.
I think the only thing she's got brewing with Ron is a cup of tea in the morning.
Well, they both like pubs and day drinking.
And they both got friends.
Yeah, friends.
We
And
forgot
they like
that bit.
Fulham.
Such a great
Tick,
location.
tick, 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 tick.
Ticky tick. What about UK? Where do you think Curtis will end up?
I think he's going to end up in the doghouse. He'll end up on a daybed for a few nights. I think that's where he's going to end up. And if he wants to get into the final, he better patch things up with Ekin-Su.
But what might happen tonight is 24 hours after they've come in, what happens 24 hours after?
Someone's got to pick.
Someone's got to pick. And I think Danielle might pick.
Curdy Boo.
So Ekin and Ron would be together.
Oh, no.
The villa antics have been a roller coaster of emotions so far, but one thing that's for certain, the Islanders' pre-loved eBay fits are going to be fire. On our first date of the series, the roots of love were blossoming for Ekin-Su and Curtis. She was a vision in a rat and boa cord previously worn by Mimi, Jessica and Grace. And seriously, her accessories got us thinking, is there any date without a Prada wicker bag? From the floral detailing to Ekin thread nails to the way they matched the hearts on Curtis's CP company shirt, it was giving certified lover girl. And after a tough week, Luca and Kaz finally met their matches in Bombshell's Grace and Ron during the recoupling. Both ladies embodied the it girl aura, with Kaz wearing an Escada denim jacket and Grace dripping in pre-loved Karen Millen, I Am Gia and a Joannaby blazer. Heads were certainly turning. Can't wait for even more fire pit flirting, fab fits and action from the villa. Shop your next villa-inspired look on eBay. Headline sponsor of Love Island. Now, the other recipient of an invite to the sexy sleepover was Elma, and she was thrilled it was Sammy. She liked him. They've got a bit of history on the outside.
I'm so glad it's you.
So glad it's you.
You flirting?
A little bit.
He said, anyone who knows me knows that I like you. And she said, I could have kissed him all night long, but I felt like he didn't want to. Do we think it's one-sided from Elma, or do we think it's equal playing field?
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that he came in at the end of the day because he loves saying end of the day. And I don't think it's one-sided. I think it is both of them on it as much as each other. I think he just thought, she's not going to want to kiss me right now. I don't think it was a thing where Catherine was saying, oh, it shows he likes you even more that he didn't try and kiss you. I think that's nonsense. I think if he thought Elma would have reciprocated, he would have gone in for it straight away. But I also think it is a bit awkward when it's the first time you're seeing somebody in the villa and there's two people in a bed just right there. Do you know what I mean? To have your first kiss with somebody.
Yeah, it's giving hostile vibes.
I also don't think it's because he did not want to kiss her. I also think he's come back into Love Island Villa and then kissing Elma on the first night that he's seen her after like a few years. He's closing himself off all over again. Like, I don't think it's necessary. He probably wants to spend the night in the Hideaway, but also go out, speak to other girls, and then when he's ready, give her a kiss.
Yeah, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, basically.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that he started talking to Tina and he's like, why is everybody so focused on age?
Because you're 23.
Because I think, mate, that they're looking for something serious and there's not a lot of 23-year-olds that are
There's some.
looking, but there's not a lot of 23-year-olds that are like, yeah, I'm looking to get married in the next couple of years. And I think the girls that are at a different stage in their life are probably looking for that level of commitment. Whereas at 23, as a guy, I don't know necessarily if that's the route you're trying to go down, which is why I think age is a massive factor.
Yeah, which is fair because quite frankly, just my opinion, I don't really think anyone should be settling down at 23.
I loved how he brought in the ITV multiverse, though. He was like, everyone on Towie knows that I really like you. All my favourite things in the same room. They had a little pillow fight as well, didn't they? Do you think that was cute?
No.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun.
I've never seen a pillow fight look sexy in my
It's
life.
not supposed to. Like, when I get that pillow out, I am trying to whack you around the head and I'm winning this.
But the thing is, though, like, we mentioned Sammy's age. The way he was flirting with Tina.
It was quite primary school, wasn't it?
He did say to all the girls, didn't he? You're all really pretty. Thank
At
you.
the end of the day, you're all really pretty. Yeah.
Do you think Elma has anything to worry about?
No. I think Tina and Scott, I think they're going to be closed off. They're going to be exclusive.
About time too. About time too.
On the subject of Scott and Tina, Scott said, nearly losing you made me realise I need to stop listening to outside pressures. Do we believe him?
I think it was a kick up the behind.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was that kind of wake-up call that he needed. The way he went up to Luca about 50 times to say, oh, thanks, bro. He is going to get his ducks in a row and be like, do you know what? You are the one I want. And do you know what? I hope it works out. They do look cute together.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're all very interested to find out how tonight's episode pans out.
Yes, so join us tomorrow where we'll find out if Ekin-Su and Curtis can weather this storm and if Elma and Sammy are a hot new couple.
You can catch us on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, and ITVX.
I was going to come back here to tell you how much I loved you.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.